The Antikythera Mechanism. You hear that name and you think it's got to be something out of a sci-fi movie, right? But this is very, very real. And it's the name of one of the most incredible and honestly mysterious things ever pulled from the Earth.
So, let's set the scene. The year is 1901. A team of sponge divers are fighting these insane currents off a remote Greek island, and they stumble upon something incredible. A ghost from the past. A Roman cargo ship that had been lost at sea for 2,000 years.
Now, they start bringing stuff to the surface. Amazing statues, priceless jewelry. And mixed in with all this incredible treasure was, well, this. A single, pretty ugly lump of corroded bronze and wood. Honestly, next to all the shiny stuff, nobody even gave it a second look. But what if that boring, corroded lump was actually worth more than all the other treasures combined? What if it held the secret to a level of scientific genius that we thought was completely impossible for the ancient world?
Okay, so let's get into it. This is the story of how that one chunk of metal, over the course of an entire century, slowly revealed itself to be something so complex, it's almost unbelievable. So after they pulled it from the ocean, this thing was so unremarkable that it literally just sat in a museum in Athens for 2 years, completely ignored. You can just imagine curators carefully piecing together these beautiful statues, while this lump of bronze just gathered dust in a corner. It's crazy. It was almost lost to history for a second time.
Unlocking its secrets? Well, it was a real slow-burn detective story. It really kicked off in 1902 when an archaeologist named Valerio Stays was the first to spot a little gear wheel poking through the corrosion. But the huge breakthroughs didn't come until way later. In the 70s, X-rays gave us the first hint that there was a whole system of gears inside. And then, get this, in 2005, modern CT scans let scientists digitally peel back the layers, and that's when they found it all. Dozens more gears, and tiny Greek inscriptions that were totally invisible before.
After all those decades of study, the truth was just staring them in the face. This wasn't some simple clock or a basic navigation tool. No, this was something much, much more advanced.
It was the world's first known analog computer. Now, when we say computer, don't think of your laptop. An analog computer doesn't use digital code. It uses physical, mechanical parts, in this case, rotating gears, to perfectly model a really complex system and predict what it's going to do next. And the system this thing was built to model? Oh, just the entire known cosmos.
I mean, just try to wrap your head around this. We're talking about a device, probably the size of a shoebox, powered by a simple hand crank. But inside was this beautiful symphony of at least 37 bronze gears, some with over 200 perfectly cut teeth, all meshing together. And the outside was covered in tiny Greek writing, basically a detailed user manual on how to operate this miniature universe. The craftsmanship is just absolutely breathtaking.
Okay, so it's a computer, it's a work of art, but what did it actually do? Well, it turns out it was a master calculator for both the heavens and for life down here on Earth.
This slide really shows its genius dual purpose. On the front, you had a celestial calculator. It tracked the sun and moon and even modeled the moon's weird, wobbly orbit. It even had a little rotating ball to show you the current lunar phase. But the back? The back was all about connecting that cosmic clockwork to human life. It could predict eclipses and even tell you when the next Olympic Games were scheduled.
And the sophistication here is just astounding. You had the Saros dial, which could forecast eclipses with incredible accuracy over an 18-year cycle. Then you had the Games dial, tracking the 4-year cycle for events like the Games at Olympia. It's this perfect marriage of the rhythm of the cosmos and the rhythm of Greek culture. Just incredible.
The very existence of this machine forces us to ask a really electrifying question. Who on Earth, over 2,000 years ago, could have possibly conceived of and then actually built something like this?
Well, there's no made-by plaque on it, but the clues are just tantalizing. We know it was built somewhere between 205 and 87 BC. A leading theory points to the island of Rhodes, which was a huge hub for astronomy and engineering. Another clue, the names of the months inscribed on it points towards Corinthian colonies, maybe even Syracuse, which was the home of the legendary genius Archimedes himself.
And you know, this probably wasn't a complete one-off. Ancient writers, like the famous Roman orator Cicero, actually described seeing similar machines built by Archimedes. Look at this quote. He's marveling at a device that could mimic the complex motions of the planets with just a single turn of a crank. This proves the Antikythera Mechanism wasn't some random fluke. It was the peak of a now-lost tradition of mechanical genius.
But the most mind-bending part of this whole story isn't just what the mechanism was.
It's what it represents, and the truly staggering legacy it leaves behind.
This right here might be the most unbelievable fact of all. After this device was lost at sea, the knowledge to create something this complex, it just vanished. Poof. Nothing even close to this level of sophistication would appear again for over 1,000 years, not until the great astronomical clocks of 14th century Europe. Just think about that. An entire millennium of technological know-how just gone.
And that leaves us with a final, kind of haunting thought. The Antikythera Mechanism only survived because of a random shipwreck. It was pure, dumb luck. And it just forces you to wonder, if this is the one we found by chance, what other marvels of ancient engineering have been lost to time forever?